It's tax time and people need to get out and get filing. And there's some myths out there that are swirling around, and we'd like to help you today by getting rid of some of those. I so often hear, I didn't make more than $10,000. I don't need to file. While that may technically be true, there's so many great reasons to file. If you want to get the GST credit, you need to file a tax return. Any benefits for children that come from the government are based on your tax return. As well, if your employer withheld any income tax, you will get that back as a refund, so why not file and get your money back? I so often hear, but Caroline, I work for myself, of course I can write it off. Now, while that's true, if you're self-employed, you do get lots of deductions against that income. But for example, if you work from home and you have one internet connection, you couldn't claim 90% of that. You need to allow for some personal use. The same is true of your automobile. If you're using your automobile for work, make sure you keep an accurate logbook of where you went, when you drove for work. Again, if you're claiming that you used your car 90% of the time for work, the CRA is going to want to see that logbook. There's definitely a perception out there that if you were on EI last year or collected maternity benefits, that you won't be paying any tax this year, and that's not necessarily true. I often get people that come in to see me and they say, gosh, it's been a tough year, I can hardly wait to get my return, I had to take some EI. The minute they say that, I start to worry. Service Canada withholds 10% for taxes, and of course our lowest federal bracket in Canada is 15%. So depending on what time of year you started collecting maternity or EI benefits, there's a chance that you might not only not get a refund, but you might owe some tax this year. Tips, tips, tips. There seems to be a myth out there in the service industry that you claim 10% of what you made in tips. So quite often people will say to me, well, how much did I make last year? That's how much I'm claiming. But in fact, the CRA expects to see 100 to 400% of your wages claimed as tips. So I always suggest to people in the service industry, when you get home at night, write down your tips on your calendar so that you can go back and add them up at tax time. Always remember, in Canada, your tax return is a declaration of your worldwide income, and then you get a chance to put any deductions and credits against it. So make sure you know what's available to you. In the year of major change, things, you have a baby, you move, you get married, you start your own business. There's lots of different credits and deductions that might apply to you, and make sure you know what documentation you need and how to best claim it to maximize your return. And just a reminder, May 2nd is approaching quickly, so get in and get your taxes filed.